Okay, very excited about the first part of our class. Obviously, this is new with the signing day and everything with it. Look at the class. Things that stand out to me is very athletic, a lot of speed. We signed 5 from Florida, 5 from Georgia, 5 from Alabama, so that kind of stayed true to the 3 states that we really focus on by position: 8 offense and 7 defense. Just kind of talking briefly about each one of these guys. Start with Asa Martin, a running back. He is very versatile. He's a guy that really reminds us of Kerryon Johnson. He can run, he can catch. He's a very good pass protector. We're very excited about him. Our quarterback Joey Gatewood's a guy that's been committed to us for 2 years. Really, from my standpoint, he stayed loyal to us the whole time. Never flinched. We had a coordinator change, and he hung in there with us. He is a very big guy. He can run. He's very athletic and has a chance to be a real special player, we feel like. Smoke Mundy is a tall, rangy guy, defensive back. He can play corner, can play safety. He really plays with an edge, and he's got a great personality. Very excited about him. Josh Marsh, linebacker, a guy that really caught our eye in camp. I think he ran a 4.48 in our summer camp and just flew around. Has an edge about him. Very excited about him. Newkirk, defensive lineman that has been committed to us for a long time out of high school. He had to go to junior college. He played running back in high school. Just very athletic, big guy. Really excited about him. Jamin Sherwood, defensive back, a big athletic guy. He's 6'2", around 200. He played offense, played defense. I know a lot of schools were recruiting to play offense. He's got that ability. Very excited about Jamin. Christian Tut's a corner, really plays with an edge. He's got very good ball skills. He's a very good returner, and really what stands out to me is just the competitiveness, and very excited about him. Michael Harris is a big, rangy linebacker. He can play all of the positions. He can rush the passer. I got a chance to watch him in person, and he just really played lights out. Very excited about him. Sean Shivers, running back. Really, Sean is one of the leaders of this class that really helps with the recruiting and everything that goes with that, but really reminds me of kind of Ontario McCaleb as far as speed and pads. I mean, he can really run. He plays a lot bigger than he is and really plays with a great edge with that. Cameron Stutz is a big athletic offensive lineman. We think he's got a great upside. He was committed to us. He chose to come and still work out in camp. I think that says a lot about him. Really competitive, and really think his best days are ahead of him. Jaleel Irvin will play center for us. He's a guy that also was a big help with recruiting, one of the leaders of the class that really just set the tone and stay consistent. Really think he's got a good upside too, very athletic. So Colby McLean's a linebacker that can run. He is very physical, and he's like a heat-seeking missile going to the ball. Very excited about him joining us. Seth Williams is a big receiver, 6'3", about 215, great basketball player. I think he's got a great upside. I'm an athlete from Tuscaloosa, and we hadn't got very many guys from there in the past. Shedrick Jackson, a wide receiver. Really what stands out to me is he's so polished. He came to our camp, just did a great job with his route running, coming in and out of breaks. He ran a 4.4. I think he's got a chance to be a real special player too. And then Coyote O'Delly is a defensive end. He's a guy that we think is going to be an excellent pass rusher. He also came to our camp and just really stood out. And I really like his personality and all that. So that's just a summary of all of our guys that signed so far, and very excited about them. Now on the other end, as far as bowl prep and practicing, we've had some very good practices. Every practice we've had, we've kind of put a window of time separated for some young guys, for guys that redshirted, for guys that didn't get to play that much, and just to try to spend a little extra time with their development. And it's been very good to see. We've seen guys improve. Our coordinators are very pleased. I know I'm very pleased, and everybody's practiced. So we expect everybody to play in the bowl, and so far so good. And we got one more practice in the morning, and then we're going to turn our guys loose for a short break to spend Christmas with their family, and then we will report to Atlanta on the 26th and start getting in our routine as far as that goes. A lot of moving parts right now. Obviously, this signing day is new. Anytime you go through something the first time, there's things you learn. You know, the big thing for me is, you know, as a coach, you just do it, and you get used to it as it goes. The big thing for me with this early signing day is, you know, really high school coaches, I'd like to hear what they think, and I'd like to hear what high school players think, because I know there's a lot of pressures that go with that, you know, making decisions, especially early. All right, questions?
You said there's a lot to learn from going through this first time, so what did you learn about this?
Well, I mean, you know, I think just from the standpoint of just trying to plan, you know, for example, I can go out one time, you know, in a home, and going out before the Christmas break is pretty rare unless it's an early out guy. So just the strategies that go with that, and that's just one example, you know.
How difficult do you think it would have been, looking back to the year you got the job, the time crunch of a first-year coach coming into a program?
Yeah, I think that's probably a real big challenge, you know, for the coaches, just have a short period of time, because a lot of times you've got to make decisions. You know, if guys are already committed, you know, do they fit your plans? Because every coach and every coordinator is a little bit different, and I would believe that would be a challenge.
Because you went on the SEC Network today and compared Joey's skill set and his athleticism and his body to Cam. Yeah. You don't have a problem setting that bar as high for that young man.
No, you know, really, it's the physical tools that he has. I mean, you know, there's only one Cam Newton. I think everybody knows that. But just from if he walked in the room, he'd look like Cam Newton. So that's probably the fairest and the best way to put that assessment.
Gus, with only 2 scholarship quarterbacks, though, how important was not only getting Joey, but keeping him and having him part of the plan?
There's no doubt, and you know, I got a lot of respect for Joey. I mean, there's a lot of people all around the country that are wanting him, and he stayed solid. He's been committed to us a long time, and just very loyal. He's got a wonderful mother, and they hung in there with us, and we felt very good about it. So we're glad to have him, and he'll be here early too. And I think that is even more of a benefit, especially you know, with a quarterback. And of course, we'll have 8 guys that will be here in January. And, you know, there's, I guess, 4 or 5 of them that have already practiced with us, which I think is always good to get, you know, to get in that rhythm.
What do you let them go through, those 4 or 5 guys? What do they do?
Yeah, you know, the individual drills are probably the biggest thing, you know, as far as that goes. And you know, after they get acclimated, you know, they can be a part of 7-on-7s and stuff like that. But probably more than anything, it's just getting around the coaches, getting around their teammates, getting a good understanding of how you operate, how you practice. So when you get to spring, you have a little bit extra time to kind of already know what to expect.
I know it's probably a dumb question, but I'm used to asking them. Did anybody stand out among those guys when you get to see them out there?
They all did. Yeah, they really all did. They all did in a positive way, I felt like, just like, yeah. And a lot of times it's just confirming too. But yeah, they were all impressive.
Gus, from a general standpoint, how many kids this time last year were you still recruiting? And how many less is it now because you've been able to sign these
Yeah,
guys?
I mean, I think what we had last year, like 9 guys that signed early or something like that. So, you know, it'll be different. You know, it'll be different as far as once you get back on the road in January. I think you'll be able to zero in more on your targets. And then probably more importantly is get a head start, you know, in 2019 and even 2020. So, you know, there'll be some strategy as far as that goes. You know, once we get back from the break.
With 15 guys signed, what positions do you feel are, you know, the biggest needs going into this final?
Yeah, you know, I really feel like we need a big-time tight end. You know, and I feel like we need another, you know, O-lineman, impact O-lineman or 2. And but overall, I'm feeling really good about where we're at, and everything pretty much held true to what we thought. There wasn't a whole lot of surprises. And you know, the way that our coaches have recruited, they've recruited a lot of these guys for a long period of time. And I think when you do that, you get more stability. And I think also you're less likely to be accurate on your evaluations of the players that you sign.
What's it like today, you know, previous signing days when it's in February, you're sitting around waiting for announcements 2 or 3 times on pins and needles, and today you didn't have any of that drama. Do you prefer that, or?
Well, it was different. It was different from the standpoint that, you know, we're preparing for a bowl game also, and you know, preparing for practice and everything that goes with it. And then you're also having to recruit and get ready for a signing day. So that was the challenge. That was new for everyone. The fact that we kind of had a pretty good idea already, like I was saying, there wasn't a whole lot of surprises, probably took a little of the stress off that it could be a little bit different, but there wasn't a lot of stress from our end, and I think that's a good thing.
As intense as this period was for everybody with bowl prep and things like that to deal with this early signing, yes, between now and the February period, do you think it'll kind of pick up the intensity for those who didn't sign, those players in the 2019 class, where guys who maybe you weren't recruiting as heavily before, and now that there's just a smaller talent pool to go after?
Well, yeah, I think you just said it. There will be a smaller pool of guys that hadn't signed, you know, obviously compared to the previous years, so I think it will be a little different.
I know there's still a couple of days for guys to sign if they wish in this period, but what's your message to guys who are committed here who haven't signed yet, or guys who are thinking about doing so but are waiting until February? What's your message to those guys? Yeah,
I mean, we've recruited guys for a long period of time. We developed great relationships with guys, and you know, if you really look at really our history over the last 4 or 5 years, you know, once guys are committed to us, usually stay committed to us, and I think that's a testament to our coaches and really the way we recruit.
So what do you think about Quindarius Monday going by Smoke? You're going to have a Smoke, a big cat. It almost sounds like the XFL. But, I mean, just what do you think of that, these kids? And will you call him Smoke when he gets on campus?
Yeah, I called him Smoke the whole time he was being recruited. And I called Big Cat the whole time I was recruiting him too. So, no, I don't have a problem with it. I never looked at it that way. The XFL, both those guys are excellent players. And both of them will probably play in the NFL.
Yes, when you look at the safeties, Smoke and Sherwood,
yeah,
and Christian Tutt,
yeah,
those guys that can help out right away?
There's no doubt. I mean, we recruited, you see the guys we're losing, our 2 senior safeties, and you know, we're recruiting those guys to come in and help us, and they know it, and they all 3 have a skill set that you know, that can. And the great thing is all 3 are going to be here early, and they'll go through spring, and I just think that is very, very valuable.
And you mentioned offensive line and tight end. Is cornerback another position you would like to?
What's that?
Is cornerback another position you would like to?
Yeah, I mean, that's we'll still be recruiting some corners.
Asa Martin, what do you really like about him going forward? And
yeah,
could he contribute immediately next season if needed? With, you know, obviously Carolina has a decision to make with the NFL himself.
Yeah, you know, the thing that stands out to me is he's very well-rounded. He is very good running the football. He's got great quickness. He's strong. He protects. I mean, he is a very good protector in high school, which is rare. A lot of guys in high school have to learn to protect. He already has that figured out, and I think that's big. And he catches the football out of the backfield like a wide receiver, and so he's going to give Coach Lindsey a lot of versatility. And to answer your question, he's here early, and he's got a very good skill set, so you know, he'll be in the mix.
You mentioned all the players are good, but specifically how's Carry-On looked and performed in practice so far?
Yeah, he's looked good. He's practiced every day that we've been out there, and you can see him moving around better and better, you know, every practice.
Do you think he'll be 100% by the time the year's next year?
I hope so. I think there's a chance of that. You know, we'll see once we get to bowl side, but I think there's a chance of that.
Gus, the group of 5 team has won 2 out of 3 times since they started the current system of years, 6 bowl games. How big a challenge is it to get to a high level of, I don't know if motivation is the right word, but an energy for a game like this when the season didn't finish quite like it wanted to?
You know, I think each team is different. And you look around college football, and that is definitely, you know, what you see, you know, who is motivated, who's not motivated. And we got great leadership on this team. They're very hungry. They're looking at it like, yeah, they were disappointed that we got beat the last game, but they're looking at it as an opportunity to finish this season off the right way. And we're playing a very good team. You can turn the film on and see that. They got respect for them. A chance to win an 11th game is very big for this senior class, very big for this team. And like I said before, it's even you know, bigger for the future. So you know, our guys are going to be ready. And they're going to have to be because we're playing a very good team.
It seems like you guys, and I might be wrong, are practicing a little bit less than previous years before bowl games. Could you take me through the thought process with the timeline for your practices and why you decided to start preparing for UCF when you did? Because I know UCF's coach said, hey, they only start on a Saturday. We start on them early last week, and they kind of see that as an advantage. How do you see that going?
Yeah, no, this is really pretty close to what we've done in the past. And of course, we started, you know, on a Friday is what we started, and feel very good about the preparation. We've had very physical practices. We've had very good practices, so I feel very good about that. And then once we get the bowl site, you know, we'll get in our normal routine.
Because when they've made, between Scott Frost saying that they thought they were ahead in preparation, or their running back talking about SEC speed, and you guys hadn't seen speed like theirs, whether it's true or not, or not about addressing it, but just when your players are going to be seeing those kind of comments for a couple weeks leading up to this game, how do you choose to address it with the team when they see things like a player making a slight about SEC speed or something? Do you address it? Do you bring it up? Do you acknowledge it?
No, you know, we worry about ourselves. Like I said, we've got a lot of respect for those guys. I got a lot of respect for their head coach. I mean, he's a very good head coach. They're the only undefeated team in college football, and you know, so don't get too much into that. You know, their head coach probably got asked, you know, was he distracted from taking that job, and his defense mechanism probably came back like that. But I got a lot of respect for him, and he'll have his team ready, and they do have some speed. So we'll see who wins, but I know our team. I'm worried about our team. Our team's worried about us, and you know, we just need to be prepared, and we need to play well.
I'm going to ask you about some of the young guys. What have you seen on Nick Brahms and Calvin Ashley so far?
Yeah, Nick Brahms is really, you know, he's got something to him. He's got some fight to him. He's got a lot of courage. Calvin Ashley really has taken the next step, I feel like. You know, he really stood out and did some very good things. Rodarius Ham also has had a very good, you know, week or so of practice since we've been back. So, and most of those offensive linemen, and that's the best thing. Those guys that redshirted on the offensive line, this is really their first time that they're actually competing for playing time. And you've seen the urgency in that group really rise. So, you know, and that's usually what happens, and that's to be expected.
Another redshirt I want to say about Alec Jackson. Have you had a chance to watch him at all?
Yeah, Alex in that same boat. Tayshawn Manning, Alex, they're getting a lot of work. You know, they both have a skill set.
And just to follow up on that, Rodarius Ham and Tayshawn Manning obviously overcame some tough things, cancer.
Yeah.
Just talk a little bit more about them, what you've seen their progress, and can they contribute next season?
You know, I definitely think they can, and you know, they went through very tough situations and fought through situations to get where they're at, and you know, it's been really neat for me to see those guys grow and get more confidence and get their strength and everything that goes with it. And got a lot of respect for both those guys.
I know in the past you're motivated by past losses and everything.
About what?
You're motivated by past losses. You've only had one bowl win since you've been here. Is there any motivation from that? Anything you can correlate to why they've had the losses in those games?
Yeah, you know, of course, you know that the national championship loss was tough, and there's no doubt. And I think the next year we lost in overtime, which, you know, is also a tough as far as that goes. You know, I just think it's each year's different. We got a hungry team, but to answer your question, no, I don't think about that. I just think about this year.
You guys mentioned Scott before. Did you know Scott much? I know he coached at Oregon a couple of years ago. Did you follow him at all, even when he was back playing in Nebraska? Do you know him well? Or?
You know, I don't know him well. We've had a couple conversations, but just from the outside looking in, you know, I think any coach in the country would respect what he did, you know, at Oregon when he was there. And then, of course, obviously at Central Florida, taking a team that a couple of years ago, you know, was not playing that well, and then all of a sudden they're the only undefeated team in college football. So he's definitely doing a great job.
Have you seen any impact from the wins, the recruiting again, the wins in November, the new contract situation with this 2018 class? Was that something that helps maybe more for the 2019?
You know, I mean, it helped here, but it'll help more in the future. I think stability, and like I said before, I mean, this day and time, stability in this league is rare. And I think that'll be a really positive moving forward. And then anytime you play big games, if you're successful in big games, obviously it helps.
Gus, you have Josh Marsh listed as a linebacker. I think there's a lot of talk about him maybe moving to a safety type.
He's got the flexibility to play both. Okay. There's no doubt about that. And the way he runs, you know, gives him a lot of flexibility.
Chance to move him around.
I think so.
Gus, you've got a couple more days left in this signing period. Do you foresee this being the end of the 15, or do you think there's a possibility of maybe adding one or two before Friday?
I think there's a possibility. I think there's a possibility of adding.
Gus, I talked to Josh, and he's like, he committed, boom, you know, back in August, said he didn't need to think about it. When you think about a guy like that said, hey, I don't care who's here, I want to come, what does a guy like that mean?
Yeah, it's pretty neat, really. It's rare, you know, and you offer him a scholarship, and he commits right there on his spot, he's ready to go, you know, that's a pretty special deal. And, you know, he wants to be here, and I think that'll go a long way.
So I'd ask about the two other linebackers in the class, Gus Harrison and McLean. Not, in the past linebacker signings, they're usually over 215 pounds. These guys are all a bit smaller. I understand they're versatile, they can play safety or something. Yeah. Is that a change to how you guys kind of approach the linebacker position, or is this because you're just looking for versatile guys?
Yeah, I think, you know, and obviously you're looking for guys who can run too, you know, and, you know, we feel very good about the linebackers we have, and I think, you know, everybody saw that this year. The linebackers we have this year was probably as good as any in our league, and, you know, I think we had one All-SEC, and we probably should have had two. But just these guys can run. They're very physical. They can tackle. They can help on special teams. So, you know, probably the versatility part.
Do they remind you any of their position coach, Travis?
That's exactly what I was thinking when he asked that question. Now, Travis was a little bit undersized, could run, was tough, All-SEC, and so I was thinking that same thing as he was asking that question.
You talked about the big picture focus from the practices before you go to Atlanta, and you started to put in the game plan yet, and then what you want to get accomplished in Atlanta?
Yeah, the game plan's it's in. I mean, we've got our game plan in. Our coaches have done a good job with the preparation with that. And then once we get to Atlanta, you know, we'll just review it again, you know, and we'll be able to have some good practice once we get to the bowl site.